Hello, hi, welcome all of you. Today we are going to discuss few model answers to the case studies that have been asked in previous UPSC papers on chapter 3, that is aptitude and foundational values of civil service. As I have already told you multiple times, your answer should be multi-dimensional. You should understand who are all the stakeholders. You should identify all those stakeholders and each point on one stakeholder, one point on one stakeholders. You will get all the required points for your answers. You just keep in mind. Even in the previous lecture also, we have discussed the model answers for a few previous UPSC questions. There also I have told you that the answers to these questions I am writing basis on the 1 point for one stakeholder type of formula. Here also I will explain you how to approach the case studies. Approaching the case study is very, very important. And who are all the stakeholders involved in that case study? And you have to write 1 point for each stakeholders. Then your answer will be completed. And all the dimensions you will be addressing in your answers. Then only you will get very, very good marks. So let's go to the case study part. This is one of the case study that UPSC asked in very recent papers, that is 2023. I have picked up from 2023. What is the case study? You are working as an executive in a nationalized bank for several years. One day, one of your close colleagues tells you that her father is suffering from heart disease and needs surgery to service. She also tells you that she has no insurance and the operation will cost about 10 lakhs. You are also aware of the fact that her husband and that she is from a lower middle class family. You are empathetic about her situation. However, apart from expressing your sympathy, you don't have the resources to fund her. So here, in this paragraph, they have explained that the condition of the female employee. She comes from a middle class family. Her father is undergoing a problem. So her things are being explained in the first paragraph. You should understand while reading, you should make up in your mind that, okay, in this paragraph, they are talking about this person. Okay, next paragraph, what they are talking. If you read from that way, then it would be very, very easy. You should read the case study as a story. Then you will only get ideas to how to resolve whatever the questions they are asking, or whatever the answers you have to write, you will write very easily. So in the first paragraph, they're talking about that woman. She is coming from a poor family, middle class family. Her husband is also earning less. Her father has got some problem, but they don't have money. She doesn't have any insurance, but the operation cost is costing her 10 lakhs. That's what they're saying. A few weeks later, you ask her about the well-being of her father, and she informs you about his successful surgery and that he is recovering. She then confides you in that bank manager was kind enough to facilitate the release of 10 lakhs from a dormant account of someone to pay for the. So you are also working in the same bank. Your friend is also working in the same bank. But after some days, you inquired about her father's health. Then she said that it is okay. Already the surgery is completed. So then, since you are her close friend, she told you that bank manager has facilitated release of some money. So how he facilitated? He removed, he withdrew money from a dormant account. Dormant account, you all know that in certain bank accounts, for a certain time period, there are no transactions are happening. From a very long time, in that account the money must be in an ideal situation, ideal position. Nobody is withdrawing, so nobody is depositing in that account. That account is ideal. So those type of accounts, the banks have a certain nomenclature for those accounts. So that is a dormant account. Dormant account of someone to pay for the operation with a promise that it should be confidential and be repaid at the earliest. So what he did was he withdrew that money from one dormant account of a customer, and he told this girl that you give this money to the hospital and you do your surgery and all, and you repay that money at the earliest, so that whenever if that customer comes to the bank and he approaches the bank and he asks for a withdrawal, there should not be any problem. So she has already started paying it back and will continue to do so until it is all returned. So she started paying it back from her salary or whatever. So here, what are the ethical issues involved? What are the ethical issues? Again, I am saying you, what are the ethical issues involved? This is the standard type of question after the case study. First, they will ask you what are the ethical issues. There is a skeleton. There are the angles I have already provided. Those angles you must remember. What are those angles? I have already individual benefit versus social benefit, short term versus long term, law versus ethics, means versus ends. And there are so many other dimensions which I have given to you, which I have provided these angles. At that time also I told you, just refer my previous lectures. At that time also I told you that these angles will be helpful. They will act as a skeleton. On that skeleton you will develop your body. That is your answers in case studies as well as in your questions. So in all case studies, whenever they ask about these ethical issues, first you should understand who are the stakeholders. It is very, very important. If you identify the stakeholders in a case study, you will not miss addressing all the stakeholders in your answers, because your answer must be holistic. You must understand the issue from all the dimensions. You must identify all the stakeholders, and accordingly you have to come up with a solution, or you have to identify the problems and come up with a solution. So second is evaluate the behavior of the bank manager from an ethical point of view. So whatever the thing he has done, he has withdrawn money from a dormant account of some other customer, and he has given it to the person, that lady who is working under him. And third, how would you react to the situation? Since you are also working in that same organization, same bank, you are first only they have written that you are working as an executive, one of your close colleague. It means that you are working in that bank, in the same bank. So how would you react to the situation? So this question is asked in 2023. So what is the model answer? I have tried to provide you a model answer. Maybe that model answer is not a perfect answer. You can modify it, but I am providing to you. That is why it is called model answer. It is a model answer. You can modify it if there is any deficiencies. So I am writing, this case clearly highlights fraud committed in the bank on the pretext of helping the employee. This is the answer. In this way I have started my introduction. So this is a clear-cut fraud. This amounts to a fraud. Even though your intention is correct, but your action is wrong. So what are the ethical issues involved? The first question is, what are the ethical issues involved? So ethical issues involved are, what is the first ethical issue? Here I am mentioning all the stakeholders. For each stakeholder, I will write one point. That is the game. There ends the matter. Your answer will be comprehensive. Your answer will be multidimensional. At the same time, you are addressing all the stakeholders. You will get very good marks. So first, I am talking about the bank manager. This is the angle from the bank manager. What is the bank manager? He is also one of the stakeholders. So though bank manager did the mischief, but he had only given the money to that lady employee for her father's surgery and to save life. So here, what is the angle? Means versus ends. That is the skeleton. That is the angle on which I have developed the content. And I have involved one stakeholder in that skeleton. Stakeholder is bank manager here. And what is the skeleton angle? Means versus ends. That is why, please refer my previous lectures. I have given you all the angles. Those angles will act as a skeleton for your answer. Based on that, you have to develop the mass. Like a human body, we are made up of skeletons. We are made up of bones. On the bones, we have certain body mass, consisting of the carbs, proteins, fats, etc. Here the angle is means versus ends. What is the end result? Her father's surgery. Yes, definitely his intent is good to help her. But what is the means he adopted? He has not given money out of his pocket or his savings. He has taken money from some other's bank account without informing him or without noticing him. That customer has so much of trust in the bank. That's why he has deposited that much amount of money in the banks. So without noticing him, how you will? It is completely unethical. It is illegal. How the bank will how the bank manager will take money from my account, even though it is a dormant account? Not an issue. But how you will remove that? How you will withdraw that money? That's what I am mentioning. Though bank manager did the mischief. So, but he had given the money to that lady employee. He wanted to help her, to save her father's life. Second point I am writing. Since she is my close friend, she disclosed the fact to me. Here the stakeholder is me. This is the stakeholder, me. Here, bank manager, stakeholder, bank manager. On one stakeholder, I have written first point. Second point, another stakeholder is me. If I make that fact public, she has told me that fact out of trust. We are close friends, so she has told me. If I make that fact public, what will happen? Bank manager will lose, and my close friend will risk losing their jobs. They might lose their jobs. Plus, it will strain my personal relationship with my friend. So, the point here I am addressing is my personal issue. So, since I am one of the stakeholders, I have written one point on what is my stake in this case study. Third point, today the bank manager, again I am coming to the bank manager. Today the bank manager committed this fraud to help an employee out of empathy. Then what is the guarantee that he will stop here? Yes, this is one time he has committed. What is the guarantee that he will not repeat this again if it doesn't stop here? Such tendencies will lead to bigger frauds. Tomorrow he will come up with something else. Maybe for his own problem, he will do the same thing to sort out his family problems. And loss of public trust in banks if corrective action is not taken at the right time. So here I am talking about the individual interest versus organizational interest. That is also one of the angle. On that angle, I have written the point. So, this is the angle: individual values versus organization, means versus ends, and stakeholders. So, ethical issues I have mentioned. One part of the question is over. Next, what is the second part? Evaluate the behavior of the bank manager from an ethical point of view. What is the behavior of bank manager? You must have studied we have already discussed the various thinkers, various theories. We have discussed the John Rawls distribution theory. And we have also discussed the Kant's deontological theories. And we have also discussed the utilitarian theories by Bentham and Mill. So here I am writing that as emphasized by deontological thinkers like Kant, rightful means to be adapted for rightful ends. So as you all know, deontological thinkers like Kant, they have focused on the means. So in this case, though bank manager empathizes with employee situation, his actions are not justified. See, empathy is an attitude and behavior is something else. Based on your empathy, based on your attitude or behavior. So, though you are empathizing, yes, there is a problem, but your action is not justified. Why? Withdrawal of 10 lakhs from a dormant bank account of someone amounts to fraud. It is a public money and one cannot use it for any purpose. Yes, it is the customer's money. It is a public money. How you can use public money for your own or your friend's problem or your colleague's problem? So that is what we are evaluating his behavior. We are evaluating his behavior based on the deontological theory. Based on the theory, you have to create certain basis. On that basis or on that parameter only you can evaluate. That is why I have created a basis of deontological theory. Since the deontological theory is saying that you should adopt rightful means, since the bank manager is have not adopted the rightful means, his or her behavior is wrong. That's what, in this case, he. So bank manager's action is wrong. That is how I am evaluating. Again, I am writing that such actions have a slippery slope effect. Today, he misappropriate public money to help an employee. Tomorrow, he might do it for himself or any for other relatives, friends. What it will happen? It will happen to a more bigger fraud in that bank. More loss to the public. Though the bank manager's behavior is liked by the lady employee for her own reasons, but neither any bank employee nor the public will accept such behavior as it will impact the bank's credentials. So his behavior will not be accepted by anyone. It is not good for the organization. Here I am talking about the organization. Organization, it will lead to a bigger fraud. And at the same time, it will also lose the public trust. Whatever the trust that is there for the public for the regarding that bank, that trust will be lost. So that his behavior cannot be justified by all these parameters. His behavior is not justified by deontological theory. I have established that. I have mentioned the theory, and based on that theory, his action is not rightful. Second, I am talking from the bank's perspective that it is not good for the organization also. Third, I am talking this is from the bank's perspective. Bank is the stakeholder, and also public is one of the stakeholders. So public perspective also nobody will accept. Nobody will accept such behaviors. That is what we are talking. So his behavior is completely wrong. Next, how would you react to the situation? Then definitely in all the case studies, this is the standard question. First, they will ask you what are the ethical issues involved. I have already mentioned to you that you should identify the stakeholders. You have certain angles which will act as a skeleton to develop your answers. So those angles, you just refer my previous lectures, maybe first lecture or second lecture, then you will come to know about those angles. So you keep those angles as a skeleton. Based on those angles, you develop the mass, and you also involve all the stakeholders and write 1 point for one stakeholder. That would be suffice. That would fulfill your answer, and you will get very good marks. So how I would react in the situation? First, though, I would try to convince my friend that the action is not right on the part of the manager, because public money cannot be used for the personal purpose. First, I will confront my colleague, my friend, that this is not right. Next, what I will do, definitely certain wrong thing has happened, definitely it should be reported to the higher authorities. And otherwise, if it is suppressed, then it will lead to a more bigger fraud. One should not allow that. So I would explain the whole issue to the higher authorities and request them to look at the issue from a sympathetic angle. So I would also request the higher authorities, sir, please look from a sympathetic angle, since his intent was right. His intent was to save the father of that lady employee, though his actions are not good. I would also request all the employees to contribute for her cause, and also would explore the option of crowdfunding loan so that she can deposit whole money into the bank account. First thing what has to be done is that whole money has to be created. There is no other option. So since she has no money, some of the colleagues, some of the employees, including myself, we can give money to her, and she can deposit immediately without any delay. I would try to provide moral support to her throughout the process. Even though I have complained, since I am coming up with a solution in the point number 3, she must not, my relation with her will not be strained. I can guard and I can continue to provide moral support to her throughout the process. Yes, we have to balance all the things. Definitely, even though she is your close friend or relative, any wrong things happening in the organization must be reported to the higher authorities to prevent any spillover effect, what we call, or to prevent any slippery slope effect. Because today he has committed one fraud. This is fraud only. What is the guarantee that he will not continue to do it if it is suppressed or if it is not highlighted? He should know that whatever he has done is wrong, completely wrong. At the same time, you should come up with a solution to her problems. How he will give back the money in one go? Because in one go, money has to be credited to that customer's account as soon as possible. So all the employees can mobilize the funds, and we can offer her those funds as a loan so that she can repay to all the employees as soon as possible. I hope you understood how to approach the case study and how to write the answers based on the stakeholder angle, based on the other angles which I have provided you. These things will act as a skeleton so that you can develop the answer on that skeleton so that you can write very, very good answers. I have explained one more case study here. This is also a simple case study. There is one district called Rampura. Rampura, a remote district inhabited by tribal population, is marked by extreme backwardness and abject poverty. Agriculture is the mainstay of local population, though it is subsistence due to the very small land holdings. There is insignificant industrial or mining activity. Even the targeted welfare programs have inadequately benefited the tribal population. In this scenario, youth has begun to migrating. So it is a district where there is a predominant tribal population and most of the poverty is there. There is no livelihood activities mostly, and at the same time, youth are migrating. At the same time, even minor girls also. Plight of the minor girls is that their parents are persuaded by the labor contractor to send them to work in the BT cotton farms of a nearby state. So it is a bordering district. So nearby state, there are opportunities for these minor girls to pluck in those cotton farms. So parents are sending them, but the NGOs of that areas are silent because maybe there is a compromise between these cotton farm owners and these NGOs. So there is a child labor problem, and at the same time, the development is lacking. So youth are migrating from that area. For the district, you have been appointed as a collector. Again, it's the same question: identify the ethical issues involved and how to resolve, which specific steps you will initiate to ameliorate the condition of the minor girls and overall economic scenario of the district. This is asked in 2020. So this is asked from the on one foundational value which I have noted down is the compassion. So how you will resolve? What are the ethical issues involved here? Again, the same thing. You have to identify the stakeholders. Who are all the stakeholders here? Poor families are one side, and these cotton farm owners are another side. There is a NGOs are another side. All these are the stakeholders. So first point I am writing about the poor. The poor are one of the stakeholders. The income levels of the families are very low and inadequate. Therefore, they are sending the minor girls also to the nearby cotton farms. In such a scenario, if I take action against these labor contractors, tribal families will be trapped in poverty. They will have even that those minor girls will not they will not be having sufficient food to eat also. Because if I am taking action about labor contractors, their employment will be stopped. That is ethical issue. Okay, I will take action, no issue. But at the same time, these people will be trapped into more poverty. Second thing, child labor is banned as per law. It affects the education of the minor girls and it stops their further progress, though they will be getting some income to support families for now. Here, short term versus long term. That is this thing I am mentioning. And also, minor girls is one of the stakeholders. So, here stakeholder is minor girls. Here stakeholder is whole families. Here stakeholder is minor girls and short term versus long term. Though in the short term they are getting few money, but in the long term their progress will be affected. That is what I am writing. So I have on the angle, I have prepared the body mass. This is the skeleton. Next, there seems to be here cotton farm owners and NGOs. These are also stakeholders. So I have written one more point on them. There seems to be an access. So issues like child labor development are not being projected. However, it is my moral responsibility to prevent wrong things and to take steps for improvement of law and order and development of the district. So it is moral versus legal. Just now we have mentioned ethics versus legal, law versus ethics. Moral versus legal, moral versus moral or ethics, moral or ethics, law versus ethics or law versus morals. So it is my moral responsibility to protect them or to promote development in that area or to improve law and order. Next point is youth. Here I am mentioning the youth. Lack of focus on development and entrepreneurship opportunities for youth. On the other hand, though money is being distributed through welfare programs, it is not sufficient. So here youth is one of the stakeholders. So I have mentioned the point on youth. So all the stakeholders I have addressed through 4 points. These are the ethical issues involved. Then what are the specific steps I will take as a district collector? First priority is to stop minor girls from migrating. So here also all the stakeholders' problems need to be addressed. That's it. So first is minor girls. So I should stop. So how to stop them? So they have to be sent to the schools. Those schools also must be residential schools so that they will be given food, clothes, etc. So for that, if government fund is there, if any, so in such type of questions, the government schemes has to be mentioned. Under which government scheme you will pool the funds to construct residential schools. There is integrated tribal development agencies. ITDA funds will be there in the district. So those funds can be utilized to set up residential schools so that those girls will be given proper clothing, proper food and proper education first. Second, To take action, though I have missed this point, to take action against those labor contractors. Definitely we have to take action. First, before taking action, there must be some alternative to relocate these girls. That's why the first point should be to set up residential schools. Next, action against those contractors. Next, action against those contractors. So if you take action, they will not dare to repeat that thing again. Strict action must be taken. That issue is addressed. Second, all those NGOs which are doing nothing, which are in excess with the cotton farm owners, we have to take action against few cotton farm owners also, and at the same time few these labor contractors also. Then they will fall in line. Next, coming to the NGOs. I have written points about NGOs. The second point is that to increase income of the families, self-help groups needs to be promoted to promote entrepreneurship among women and men, and to provide right support in the form of subsidies. Yes, we are talking about the entrepreneurship. So they have to do certain things through self-help groups. We can provide them money, we can provide them loans, market linkages. So what is the government scheme? NRLM fund, ST plan fund can be utilized for that. So you have to come up with these type of specific funds, specific schemes to get more and more marks. Next, since they have mentioned that there is no industrial activity, if you see the question, there is no industrial activity also. There is no insignificant industrial or mining activity. So what, as a district collector, I should do? I should invite certain industries, and I should offer them land to set up lands so that youth will be employed and there will be no migration of the youth from that area. Next, I am talking about the NGOs. See, I will set up a committee under my chairmanship in collectorate. In district collector office, I can set up a committee under my chairmanship consisting of officers from district administration, banks, NGOs, company representatives, to formulate and implement plans to improve the entrepreneurial and industrial activities. This committee shall meet frequently to resolve the issues. This is a very, very important point. Next, how to engage NGOs, how to coordinate with NGOs for better service delivery. That is the point, fifth point I have written, to engage NGOs. I will improve health and educational facilities, will conduct health camps in collaboration with NGOs in tribal villages to promote preventive healthcare and to disseminate hygiene practices. I am talking about the taking help of NGOs for education and health to create awareness. That's how I am actively involved in the NGO, which is the one stakeholder, important stakeholder. We'll establish skill centers. So skill centers, National Skill Development Mission funds can be utilized for the scheme. Same. So such type of questions, you should come up with a specific program, specific schemes from the government side. If you incorporate them in answers, you can link your answers with those schemes, you will get very, very good marks. Similarly, I won't, the time is exceeding, so I won't discuss further any case study, but again, one more case study I am mentioning here is from 2018. That is the case study of a ineligible beneficiary for health scheme. So definitely the criteria for beneficiary is this, but one person has approached you. That is what the case study is. One person has approached you, but the old couple is not fulfilling the criteria. That is the point B, that is belonging to a reserved community. The couple is not from a reserved community, but they are of 60 years, their family income is less, their quality of life is less. So how to address their health issues? They have diagnosed with a certain rare condition in their intestine problems. So how, as a responsible district level officers, how you would address the problem? Here, there is a law versus ethics, rules versus ethics. Rule is, these are the rules, but the old couple is not fitting into a one rule. That is, they are not from reserved community. Still, they want support from the government. How would you tackle? Based on the inputs I have given you in the previous case studies, based on my model answers, you can attempt this question very well, I hope. Similarly, there are few more previous UPSC questions that I have mentioned. Again, same thing. All these questions we have already discussed. We have provided model answers for these questions. Just you write answers for all these questions. I have mentioned the questions that have come up on this chapter 3, Aptitude and Foundational Values for Civil Services. You can download the PDF below this YouTube channel link, YouTube video link. So then you can attempt all these questions. You can write answers for questions on your own. If you have any doubts, please feel free to mail me, or you can show me your answers. I can evaluate, and if time permits, I will try to give model answers to each and every question. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you all.